love some of the commentary around how you managed to get a weak dollar at this point, because Donald Trump's administration has been taking aim at the strong dollar, and some are saying, well, if you had a slightly more dovish bent to the Fed, you've got a couple of positions coming up, then you put some doves in there, then you might get a softer dollar. Others saying, well, that may not necessarily follow through if you get the market reacting by pushing up yields.
That's the point, because of the inflation impact that I thought Mrs. Yellen was talking about yesterday, and some of the oil effects from the lower price having come through now. We can get a really good, strong look at inflation, possibly, as you mentioned, the wages inflation possibly trickling through in a little bit more aggressive manner as well. This will not get, doesn't matter if it's a dove or a hawk, if you go north of 2% on that inflation rate consistently, and we're going to have 4.5% handle on the unemployment rate, it doesn't matter who's at the Federal Reserve.
The bond vigilantes finally fire up again.
Well, absolutely. I mean, especially when you consider some of the nominees that might be coming into the Board of Governors seats. During the campaign, Trump was talking what you would read as a very hawkish stance, and starting to question the Fed policies of the last 6-7 years, i.e. taking a little bit more of an aim at QE and the ultra low interest rate policy. But now that he's actually in the office, you're starting to see the pushback against things like the dollar having strengthened so much in response to Trump.
Can you just satisfy natural curiosity for me? Because one of the thought processes is that when you've got a couple of available vacancies, you start to see Trump putting someone in to the Fed who might eventually take over from Janet Yellen. But that just does not seem to be very Donald Trump's style. You'd think he'd want to have that big bang appointment. I'm putting this person in and they're going to be the next chair of the Federal Reserve. He wants that big announcement, doesn't he?
I think he'll get that chance. I think as far as the chair is concerned, he can only do so much, given Yellen still has to serve out her term, and they need to maintain some sort of credibility of the central bank, I think, in the meantime, without undermining her. But in the meantime, he has 2 Board of Governors positions he can fill immediately with potentially big names, or names that have at least been very vocal about the direction the Fed should be taking.